First, we stress out the default cube to be a nice ground plane for the monkey's gonna land on. Then I get rid of the default light. I make myself a little plane. I'm gonna stress out to make a little ramp. I'm gonna extrude it downwards, make a nice ramp. Tried out some different layouts, how I was gonna lay this out. I drag in the monkey. I added in the collisions and rigid bodies. Set the monkey one to mask. Now relocate the ramps, kind of line up a bit better. Now I found the right layout for it. Ground has collision on it, the ramps do. They all have collision from rigid bodies. The same with the full plane. Because right now we're still getting too much airtime on the monkey. We don't want airtime. Then I fooled around with the settings a bit to get the right settings for them. What type of physics we could get. Took a few minutes to get this right. Doing some tests, I ended up seeing the monkey flying. So we don't really want that, so keep changing the settings, the ramp shape, till we finally get it not to fly. I changed up the ramp a bit, making it a bit more smooth. That way it slid down much better. Just the shape of it, and how long it is. We want a long slide for the monkey to slide down. And we don't want him to go plop on the floor too early. I subdivided the monkey. And I smoothed him out. Then I began to place the camera where we wanted it to go. I sent it to orthographic. Now I keyframe it to follow the monkey around. When it goes through the frames, keyframing it. Press K to keyframe. Location and rotation on it. I just go through the animation and keyframe it to follow it then. Frame by frame. I also added a little zoom at the end when he landed. I made a zoom by changing the orthographic scale. I keyframe that to move up and down to this one point, that way it zooms in when we get closer to the shot. I changed the resolution to be the resolution I wanted. I I adjusted the camera a bit more to follow the monkey a bit better. Doing the settings far too much. I set the keyframes to 250, that way the scene ends at 250. We're not going to do a very long simulation here, or a long scene at all. I add a flip through the obstacle tag to it, invert it, so export animated mask, and then I added a cube and I put the cube inside the monkey. I set it to info, and then I decided on the size, and now I parented it to the monkey, that way it can have a dad. It's no longer alone. And I baked the animation for the monkey keyframes. The raised body one, we keyed it, or baked it to the monkey. That way flip fluids can work with it. You need to make sure you do that. Let's go right into issues. There we go, now it's in the keyframe slot. Then I set up the domain, which would be the house for the water basically, where the water is allowed to go. We're just gonna set where the monkey goes. Try to get the right size for it. I'm gonna set the resolution to 140 for testing purposes. I check the scale to see if it's right to what I want it to be. Then I drag the floor of the ramps a bit down to make them look more solid. It looked like it was alright, and it was in the area of the domain. I said export animated mess, that way it moves. I expanded the cube for the water info, because I wanted to add a bit more water in. Theoretically, when the monkey moves, it should drag the cube along, because it has a dad. And I do a quick test bake. Here's a little test of it. I did another simulation to test out how it's going to look on a higher set with some white water. Set the white water energy minimum energy speed to 0.05. I do a quick simulation of it. And then I go in to adjust the settings of the lighting. I went through and changed the settings to cycles, and I changed it to GPU. I set the water to be the default flip fluid settings, or a flip fluid setting material that was made for. For flip fluids, the bubbles, foam, and spray, and the water. This one uses volume, so it's going to take longer to bake. I mucked with the settings of the materials on the ramps and floor. I decided I wanted it to be a black material. That way the water could stick out a bit more, and you can see the color on it a bit better than if it was white. I mucked with the sky texture, which I'll be using for the lighting. I was originally going to add a grass layer to it, but I ended up just erasing it later on. Don't worry too much about this step. I set the final resolution for the simulation to be 400 in the end. Many hours later, with this nice little simulation, I'm going to adjust the camera a bit more because I don't like the way it's placed. By going in and changing the keyframes so that it's in. I look at the keyframe for it, see if I like how it looks. And I decided to do just the lighting one more time, which I'll probably do again sometime later. I changed the location where the sun is coming in. And change the camera again. I go through and adjust the settings in the particles to make them smaller. Made them 0.004. That way they're not too big, but not too small. I decided to leave the bubbles at a higher value though, at 0.10. Make them a bit more visible. Here I decided to get rid of the grass. Because there will be no grass in this render. I adjust the lighting for one more time. I think for the last time this time, but we'll find out soon. I go through and save the settings for it. I prepare it for rendering by looking at the settings. I set the samples to 200 max. That way I'll wait here a decade. Here's the monkey. And it's full glory. And thank you for watching. Stay safe. I'm out of here.